Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Lianas Senior Transition Support, specialists in downsizing and seniors residences.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Life Unrehearsed. My name is Matt Delvecchio, specializing in life transitions, downsizing, and the senior living industry.
And I'm Corrie Matt, a clinical social worker and psychotherapist specializing in grief and loss.
Coming right up on the first half of today's show, how can we help bereaved children? Well, we have CEO of Myra's Kids Foundation, Jon Reider, who will be talking about this important program. And Corrie, this is dear to your heart. You're the camp director of this, and things are really moving, aren't they?
Oh, they sure are. 43 campers registered to date and counting.
Wow, good for you. Ahead of schedule. And, obviously your world and Jon's world has been thrown into a loop like many organizers of camps, and it is a work in progress, but I know what you had to do last year, and it's still up in the air for the types of things you can and can't do. God bless for all the work you're doing behind the scenes, because it's such a wonderful camp. What do we have coming up in the second half?
On the second half, we are going to be having a lovely chat with Susie Sindel. She's the founder of Frames to Go. She's going to share how she reinvented herself at age 52. That's coming up after the 3:30 news.
Susie's a real dynamo. Can't wait to be talking to her. All right, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Jon Reider, the chairman and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation. Professionally, Jon is a CPA and business consultant. However, Jon is so much more than that. He is a leader and Corrie's partner in crime, and as he called upon Corrie to create a magical experience, and I'm going to stress magical indeed, known as Myra's Kids Foundation Bereavement Programs. And we're going to hear all about it. Jon, welcome to Life Unrehearsed.
Thanks so much, Matt, and hi, Corrie.
Hi.
Jon, thanks for joining us. So excited to talk about this. Let's just get a little background. What is Myra's Kids Foundation?
So, first of all, thanks for having me back. And Myra's Kids Foundation is a very unique and very special organization that provides programming and support for children and young adults who have suffered the loss of someone close to them.
So, I know this, but I'm going to ask it for our listeners. How did it get started?
So, 5 years ago, we started as a 3-day summer camp program, and we realized, unfortunately, that the need was great in the community. So now we are a full year run programs and activities for bereaved children. But again, the camp is really the cornerstone of our programming, and that is really a very special part of what we do and what we provide to the children and their families.
Listening to Life Unrehearsed, Matt Delvecchio with my co-host Corrie Matt, and that's Jon Reider, CEO and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation. Now, Jon, I know this is much more than just a camp. This is very personal to you. Can you explain your story behind this?
Yes, of course. Thanks, Matt. Unfortunately, my mother died when I was 3 years old, and in the 60s, it was thought that the best way to handle death when it came to children was to not talk about it. We know now that's the exact opposite to what really should be done. Children have to know, they have to be able to share, they have to have their grief acknowledged. And because of what I went through and the trauma that I experienced, I made a promise to myself that when I could, I would do anything that I could to help and support children who had suffered the same traumatic experience that I did, and to give them the support that I required, and to be a part of giving them this feeling of knowing that there's other children that have gone through the same experience, and giving them the tools to deal with it.
And Jon, you're just not talking to talk. You're walking the walk. You are so involved. It is so personal, and your whole family is involved, and obviously Corrie is very much involved as well. Corrie, we're going to bring you into this as the camp director. When will camp take place this summer?
So we typically put our program, the sleepaway program, in the first week of August because of the pandemic and certain circumstances around some of the guidelines and not sure where and how we could do it. We did move camp to August 13th, 14th. It won't be an in-person up north program because last year with the social regulations, distancing regulations, we had to pivot and move our program to an in-city where we were allowed. We said, it's not about what we can't do, it's about what we can do. And what we could do safely and comfortably and wonderfully was an in-person, in-city, socially distanced, mask-wearing event for one day, partly virtual. This year, just to remain safe, we're going to do, once again, something in-city, but it'll be partly virtual and also longer and even better program for the children who are bereaved.
And scheduled for August 13th and 14th. I love that concept. Bring it in city. You've been through it once. You've got the experience of it, and I think the kids will ultimately benefit. Now, who can attend this bereavement camp?
So, Jon, I'll take this one. It's for anyone ages 5 to 17, anyone who had any loss at any time, any way. So it's really all-encompassing. It doesn't matter when or how their special person died. It just is available and open to any bereaved child. Siblings can attend. Like I said, could have been 6 years ago, could have been 6 months ago. People don't always know about the services, so when they do find out, we want to make sure that there's a place and a space for them.
So good. It's listening to Life Unrehearsed. That's Corrie Sirota, camp director of the bereavement camp. She happens to be co-host of Life Unrehearsed as well on the side here. And we're with Jon Reider, CEO and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation. Corrie, how many kids last year and the year before?
We have been fortunate in that we have continued to increase our registration started first year at 25. This is our 5th summer offering this program. So it started at 25. It went up to 55 summer. We went up to camp. Last summer, as anyone can imagine, it varied because of the circumstances. So we were at 36. We're now sitting at 45 campers registered, and I know we're not done yet.
So that's a lot of kids, and there are a lot of costs to run this camp. I hear behind the scenes what you guys go through. Jon, I'll throw it over to you. I mean, how much does it cost kids for this camp?
So for the children, this is a basic foundation of what we do. There are no costs whatsoever to the families for any of our programs or services throughout the year, and that includes the camp as well. So the camp is free for the children and their the families. The way that we fund the camp is through private donations from individuals, from corporations, through fundraising events. We have been so blessed that we have had a group of individuals who have been donating to our program from day one, and they have been a part of our fundraising efforts right from the start. And it's just so amazing that we touch so many individuals, and they thank us for what we're doing when we're saying thank you to them for allowing us to be able to do it. So we've been very, very fortunate to have wonderful donors throughout the 5 years, and that's allowed us to continue the program. And most importantly, it's allowed us to really expand the program, especially through the pandemic year when I think we tripled our programming and our activities. and it's only as a result of the donations that we were able to get.
Just amazing, incredible, just to think that the cost is free to the children and how many people this does affect. I think this is an important point that you're bringing up, Jon. It's Jon Reider, CEO and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation. So we're not just talking about this bereavement camp in August, but programs have been expanded throughout the year, and again, no cost to families. And I want to stress families because this is for bereaved children, but it's for a mom, a dad, a grandparent, and other loved ones that are also benefiting from this. Now, Corrie, I'm going to throw it back to you because your staff, I've met many of them. They are
right.
Incredible. Tell us about the staff.
So to sum it up, the quick answer is I call them the dream team. So that tells you where we're at and what it's about. And when we say staff, the camp is 98% staffed by volunteers. And those volunteers are the most incredible human beings I've ever had the privilege and pleasure to work with. They range in age from 20 all the way up to 60 plus. And I always have more volunteers than I know what to do with, which is the best problem to have. They range in professions. We have doctors, funeral directors, psychologists, music therapists, art therapists, drama therapists, and then we have accountants and teachers and lawyers and anyone else who is interested. They go through a rigorous and very intensive volunteer training, both on childhood grief as well as pre-camp programs and programming, because they need to know they're vetted and they need to. I need to know that they're okay. They have to have background checks and. We have a top-notch team.
Top-notch is right. So you do an incredible job of finding the right people, and because it takes a special person to volunteer with this type. So you're listening to Life Unrehearsed, and that's Corrie Matt, Camp Director, along with Jon Reider, CEO and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation. Jon, when we come back, we have to go out to traffic, all right? But we want to hear from you as to why is it important for children to grieve in the first place. But first, let's head to the CJD Traffic Center for a traffic update.
Life Unrehearsed, brought to you by Flora Lee Senior Residences. Always there for you. Safe, reassuring, and comforting. We call it home.
Welcome back to Life Unrehearsed. My name is Matt Delvecchio. I'm here with my co-host, Corrie Matt, and we also have on the line Jon Reider, CEO and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation, talking about a wonderful bereavement camp and tons of programs throughout the year. Corrie, you're wearing two hats today, not only co-host, but you are the camp director as well. And I want to address this next question that we talked about just before traffic. And why is it important for children to grieve?
Oh gosh, how much time do I have? Again, it's hard to sum it up, but just to know that we know from the research that children who have experienced the death of a loved one, and that, by the way, statistically is 1 in something like 14 by the age of 18. That's Canadian statistics. Shocking. So we know this is affecting a lot of children when they don't have a place to share their thoughts, to honor their special person, and to learn coping mechanisms. They are at a much, much higher risk of engaging in risk-taking behavior and experiencing or presenting with issues of depression, trauma, etc. So we think that children don't grieve, and nothing could be farther from the truth. They feel it. They just feel it and show it and express it very differently than adults.
And Jon, as you experienced many, many years ago, the grieving process, I'm sure, is much different than it is now. And we're talking about so much done throughout the year, but the big event is the camp in August 13th and 14th. Jon, is the camp a religious camp?
No, we're very proud to say it's non-denominational, and that's been a very big part of our programming. Anybody really can take part in our activities and our programs, and we try and reach as many people as possible to take advantage of the support that we're offering.
Oh, wonderful, and we're going to be sending out the information as to how you can register for the camp. They are still accepting registrations, and it's booking quickly. Corrie, we're going to throw this back to you as camp director. You know all about the activities. Can you sort of summarize some of the more popular ones?
So what we do at camp is absolutely by design. We try and mimic a little bit of what the grief process will look like. So there are activities that honor the memory of the person who died, very special, sentimental, I'll call them heavier. And then we have activities that are just for fun. So we may do a memory board that honors the memory of the person by everyone introducing their special person, and we put it all together, to an emoji toss where they're throwing water balloons after the grief counselors are asking different questions. They made stress balls and art. They do a grief walk. Ask the doctor, ask the funeral director. Those are all the grief more related activities. And then they play basketball. They might do boot camp. They might do some dancing and some drama and some singing. And we mix it up all together, and we make sure that the activities are done developmentally appropriate levels.
I love that, because you don't, it's not that you don't want to give the perception that it's called the bereavement camp, that it's all sadness and doom and gloom for the weekend. Quite the opposite. I've seen videos of the camp, and it is amazing. You see a bunch of smiling faces, not only on the kids, but parents and volunteers, and so on. You're listening to Life Unrehearsed. Matt Del Vecchio here with my co-host Corrie Srota, who is also the camp director of the Camp Bereavement. It's not necessarily for everyone. There is a selection criteria from what I understand, Corrie. So what is that criteria for campers to attend the camp?
So I said anyone and of any loss, anyhow, anytime, anyway. We do not, and please don't hate us for this, but we don't take families where there's been a death of a pet. Not to say that that's not traumatic, but it's just different than for those families. And we had to draw a line somewhere. We will not take a child who's had a recent death, because we do understand that they need a little bit of time to process that before being thrown into this environment. So there's a lot. It's very, very open-ended, and it is pluralistic, non-denominational, but there are some criteria that we do have to adhere to. We will invite a child who's come before. They can return to the camp. That's something that's newer to us because of the configuration and the foundation we created. If you're grieving and this has been a helpful place for you, one of the most beautiful things Jon will attest to is the fact that we have a camper who started with us as a camper at age 14. She's been with us 4 years, so she's now a counselor.
Oh, nice. And of course, siblings. You see a lot of siblings as well. We're going to bring it over to you, Jon. Jon Reider, CEO and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation, one backing all this and your vision. I'm interested about transportation. We've talked. It's in city, so I don't know if that changes a little bit from when it was, I guess, up north. But how is transportation provided for children?
So when we were running the camp up north, we did provide transportation, but again, because of the situation that we're in right now, everyone has to make their way to the camp on their own, and camp is at Collège Brébeuf, which is an absolutely beautiful campus. You really feel like you're up north with the trees and the most beautiful facilities. So we're very fortunate to be running it up there. And I just wanted to mention, Matt, that we just got the approval to have therapy dogs at camp this summer. And we've had a lot of people that have been interested in that, and I think that's going to be a really nice and fun addition to the program. The kids obviously love that type of activity, sure. And so we're looking forward to that.
What a welcome addition. We've talked about zoo therapy and therapy dogs on the show in the past. This makes perfect sense. So glad you're able to what a real coup. Now, just quickly, both to Jon and Corrie here, because the focus is on the camp, and we've mentioned how you've started to expand programs throughout the year, and there are so many of them. Maybe, Corrie, can we start with you about some of the programs above and beyond the weekend camp? that are out there?
My pleasure. The one of the many advantages to working with Jon is that he rarely says no to me.
Way to go, Jon.
And when we talked about doing the camp, I said, yeah, but I don't feel right about just having the kids come up to camp, do this whole program, and then saying goodbye, take care, good luck with that, let me know how it goes. So Jon was totally on board for offering initially in-person support groups. And then we very quickly changed our focus when we hit this pandemic in terms of offering. Also, we always had a camp reunion. We always had a holiday party for any family that has been part of our family, our Myra's Kids Foundation organization and camp program. They're invited back for holidays. But we also know that holidays can be really tough times. So we started to do a Halloween event. We started to do a Valentine's Day event. We just did a pre-Mother's Day. We do a pre-Father's Day, and all the children are invited and their families, in fact, to join us for mostly fun. But we light a candle. We say something about honoring the memory. That's how we do it, so that we keep the program moving and fun, but also meaningful.
Amazing. We've covered so much material and so much ground here, and we're running out of time, but I want to make sure we get the word out and as to how where should they be looking to find out about this camp. Jon, I'll start with you.
So everyone can visit our website at myraskids.ca, and you'll find all the information, who to contact, how to apply for the camp, and also for anyone that's interested, we also have a donate button on our website, and we also are always very happy to have additional support coming in. I just wanted to throw in one other thing about the full year of activities. I think one of the things that I never could have expected is the camaraderie and the feeling of family with all of our kids and their families, knowing that other children, other families are going through the same type of grief process, and they really latch on to each other, and that gives them a tremendous amount of support as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's been very
good point. A very good point. Jon, we're running out of time. We want to thank you very much for coming on the show. We want to wish you and Corrie much success, and that's Jon Reider, CEO and founder of Myra's Kids Foundation. Corrie, what do we have coming up in the second half?
Susie Sindel, founder of Frames to Go, is going to share how she reinvented herself at age 52. That's coming up after the 3:30 CTV News.